everyone, I am Morgan. How are you all? I hope you all in a good health and always remember stay safe, stay healthy. My team is here to introduce you to a country called Kosovo. Many of you will not recognize Kosovo because it is not widely known by many people in this world. Even before we start this assignment, we didn't know much about this country, but when we started this assignment, we get to know much about this country. Of all, the name Kosovo is derived from a Serbian place named a field of black birds. A landlocked country, Kosovo is bordered by Serbia to the north and east, North Macedonia to the south, Albania to the west, and Montenegro to the northwest. Kosovo, also the same size of Jamaica and Lebanon, is the smallest country in the Balkans. Kosovo also has a mild continental climate, which is cold, snowy winters and warm summers. More into the country in the involvement of the war and how they get their independence, my team members will proceed more into this video.
Hello everyone, I'm Shazwan. I was tasked with finding out about what happened in the Kosovo War. So, based on my findings, this conflict in Kosovo lasted from 1998 to 1999. The ethnic Albanians opposed the Serbs and the government of Yugoslavia, which at the time was comprised of the republics of Serbia and Montenegro. However, this conflict had built up since as early as the year 1993. In 1989, Ibrahim Rugova, leader of the ethnic Albanians, initiated a policy of non-violent protests against Slobodan Milosevic, then president of the Serbian Republic. Milosevic and members of the Serbian minority of Kosovo had long objected to the fact that Muslim Albanians were in demographic control of an area held sacred to the Serbs. For example, the Orthodox Church is located in Kosovo. Tensions escalated between the two ethnic groups from the year 1993 to 1997. As a result of these tensions, the Kosovo Liberation Army (KLA) emerged in 1996, and its sporadic attacks on Serbian police and authorities steadily escalated over the next 2 years. In 1998, Serbian police attempted to reassert control over Kosovo. This includes them coming up with engaging in a program of ethnic cleansing. Civilians were driven from their homes. In September, the North Atlantic Treaty Organization (NATO) gave an ultimatum to President Milosevic to halt the violence. In March 1999, as internationally brokered peace talks failed, NATO launched airstrikes against Yugoslavia, lasting for 78 days before they yielded. President Milosevic agreed to withdraw troops from Kosovo in June 1999. Unfortunately, damage had already been done. More than 1 million of Kosovo Albanian refugees poured into neighboring nations, and over 13,500 people were killed or went missing during the 2-year conflict. Between 450 and 550 civilians were killed during the NATO airstrikes. Buildings were destroyed. In February 2002, Ibrahim Rugova was elected as president by the Parliament of Kosovo. Badram Rezapi became prime minister. This marked a new era for Kosovo as they inch closer to their independence.
Do we know why Kosovo has been in war for over 20 years old? Let me tell you something. This is because ethnic cleansing that was launched by Serbian force toward Kosovo Albanian. There's dozens of people were killed. The talk between Kosovo Albanian and Serb in France ended with failure. On 18 March 1999, the further talk in Paris collapsed after Serbia refused to sign a deal. The Serbian troops drove thousands of ethnics from their home. They also accused of massacring Kosovo civilians. And 2 days later, the Serbian army launched a new offensive attack in Kosovo, and NATO air has begun. At the end of the day, the president, Slobodan Milosevic, is died during his trial for crimes against humanity and genocide. Due to this, the court returned no verdict.
Hi, Assalamualaikum. I want to talk about the independence of Kosovo. The road to independence in Kosovo is almost over after the submission of a report by the Special Representative of the United Nations in Kosovo by Mr. Marty Ahtisaari. That report was submitted in March 2007. This proposal has recommended that Kosovo be given to freedom to be monitored. The draft was then taken to the United Nations Secretary General and the two key leaders in Belgrade and Pristina. In successive meetings, thus Kosovo was given the freedom to govern itself and let Serbia continue to operate. Apart from this, Kosovo should be monitored directly through the presence of the military and international civilian. The confrontation escalated when US President Bush in June 2007 visited Albania and expressed the possible hope in Kosovo for independence. The fact that Bush is not popular in Europe, the statement posed the greater challenge to US foreign policy. The split then covered the missile defense system in Eastern Europe and paved the way for democratic unification within Russia itself. The position held the Russia provoked mixed reaction from the Contact and United Nations group, which opened up greater uncertainty in Europe's united position, but failed to lead the greater collapse in the Europe United. Artisari plans was supported by Ban Ki-moon, who was a person Secretary General.
On 17 February 2008, Kosovo, the seventh nation to declare independence from the former Yugoslavia, is said to become the youngest sovereign entity of the world. For Kosovo, Albania, the decision signified the successful completion of the decider of violent struggle, bombardment, murder, rape, pillage, and sacrifice. For the international community, the decision symbolic the beginning of a deep division and diplomatic warfare. In July 2010, the International Court of Justice ruled that Kosovo Declaration of Independence did not violate international law. However, then Serbian President Boris Tadic insisted that the Serbian government would not recognize Kosovo independence. Various international and regional stakeholders supporting Kosovo independence, such as the United States, officially recognized Kosovo as a sovereign and independent nation on 18 February. Today, Kosovo has been recognized by a large number of Europe countries, the United States, Japan, Canada, and by other countries from America, Africa, and Asia.
Kosovo is the second youngest country in the world, behind South Sudan, to declare independence in 2011 and the youngest country in Europe to be recognized in part by 100 United Nations members. After the 2008 referendum, Kosovo declared its independence on 17 February 2008. However, Serbia and Russia did not like the Kosovo country being recognized as an independent country. Following the controversy, the United Nations Court ruled that the state of Kosovo did not violate international law and was upheld on 22 July 2010. After the Kosovo War and the NATO bombing of Yugoslavia in 1999, the province of Kosovo received a temporary administration from the United Nations Mission in Kosovo, which later handed over most of its role to the European Union Constitutional Law Mission in December 2008. In February 2008, the Kosovo Assembly declared independence as the Republic of Kosovo. Its independence was recognized by the Republic of China. On 8 October 2008, at the request of Serbia, the United Nations General Assembly accepted a resolution was asking the International Court of Justice for advice on the issue of the declaration of Kosovo's independence. The United Nations backed talks led by United Nations Special Envoy Marty Ahtisaari began in February 2006. Although progress has been made on technical issues, both sides remain opposed to status issues himself. In February 2007, Ahtisaari presented a draft status settlement proposal to the leaders of Belgrade and Pristina, which formed the basis of a draft United Nations Security Council resolution backed by the United States, the United Kingdom, and other members of European Security Council. Was rewritten 4 times in an effort to address Russia's concerns that the resolution would undermine the country's sovereignty.
The Stabilization and Association Process (SAP) is one of the central components of the EU strategies to stabilize the countries of the Western Balkans by gradually bringing them into the EU one by one. And of course,
it is up to the EU how Kosovo's accession process goes forward, but a change in Serbia's policy towards Kosovo is also needed. It is clear that 18 months after Kosovo's declaration of independence, EU promised to expedite Serbia's integration in Union will not suffice to persuade the Serbian government to make concessions.
that applies above all to membership prospects. The EU will also need to be creative in finding a way to keep the accession machine moving forward to the both Kosovo and Serbia, irrespective of the Kosovo statement. Of the war, the Europeans have dared to door to immigrants from the Balkans who a few decades ago could still find a welcome as guest workers even in Germany. Tens of thousands of Kosovo Albanian refugees were sent home. In this context, short-term contracts of the opportunity for seasonal employment in the richer parts in Europe could be of great benefit to Kosovans. Priorities and on that basis to formulate coherent policies in order to make sure that Kosovo does not remain an isolated poorhouse in Europe.
Hello everyone, I am Morgan. How are you all? I hope you all in a good health and always remember stay safe, stay healthy. My team is here to introduce you to a country called Kosovo. Many of you will not recognize Kosovo because it is not widely known by many people in this world. Even before we start this assignment, we didn't know much about this country, but when we started this assignment, we get to know much about this country. Of all, the name Kosovo is derived from a Serbian place named a field of black birds. A landlocked country, Kosovo is bordered by Serbia to the north and east, North Macedonia to the south, Albania to the west, and Montenegro to the northwest. Kosovo, also the same size of Jamaica and Lebanon, is the smallest country in the Balkans. Kosovo also has a mild continental climate, which is cold, snowy winters and warm summers. More into the country in the involvement of the war and how they get their independence, my team members will proceed more into this video.